What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to make a really quick intro for those of you who don't know what this is and those of you who don't know what I'm doing. I have a podcast and it's called I'm Into It with Keaton Milburn. I posted about it a lot of times before. I took a little break and I decided that I would start recording me doing the podcast and kind of doing it as if I'm talking directly to the camera, like it's a sit-down YouTube video, but I'm also having it in podcast form. I know a lot of different podcasts do that where they upload their content onto YouTube as well. For those of you who like to see more visual stuff, I'm a very visual person and I love watching podcasts, so that's just something I like. So I figured I would incorporate that, but yes, this will be my very first episode that I'm uploading onto this YouTube channel, which is episode 8. I have my little headphones right here. Brandon got me these, or not got me these, but these are like old ones that he had. They look so funny. These are old ones that he had and he gave to me so I could just use them for podcasting because I didn't have any. So, you know, if any headphone brand wants to sponsor me and give me some new ones, not that I don't love these, Brandon, like these are great, but what is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'm Into It with Keaton Milburn. I haven't been on since I actually went back and looked, and I'm pretty sure it was like the second week of June was my last episode. And it's so funny because I kind of thought by not uploading podcast episodes that people would be like, oh my gosh, like we're so over this, we don't care about it anymore. I feel like when it's like with YouTube and Instagram and stuff, kind of like when you stop posting and you like don't do as much, you kind of fall off and you lose engagement. And it was like completely the opposite. Like I was getting mentions and DMs and like questions like literally up until today being like, please record another episode. So that made me really happy because it made me realize, wow, people like actually like to listen to this podcast and enjoy it. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to come on here on the audio version of this and just kind of say I do have a visual version of this I'm recording right now. It's on my YouTube channel. So if you guys like the visual aspect of podcasts, you guys can always go on my YouTube channel and watch the visual aspect. I decided to do that because I found myself really struggling to talk to myself directly. Like literally I would be laying in bed and I would just be like blabbing out loud and I would feel really weird. So I think that me talking to a camera really helps me. But anyway, that's my little spiel. Hi guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're safe and healthy and happy. You're taking care of yourself. These past 2 months, 3 months, I don't even know how long it's been really. I've really been taking care of myself and I've really been trying to figure out what it is that I want to do, which like we're definitely going to get into that. I feel like this is going to be, we're going to get into it. I'm into it. Okay, sorry, I'm annoying, but I feel like this episode is definitely going to be a lot longer just because, I don't know. I think it's just going to be a lot longer because I think that I have so much to say and we haven't caught up in so long. And I want to just really sit and talk. So I did ask you guys to ask me questions over on Instagram. So I'm going to really just kind of be answering a lot of those for the majority of this podcast. But I also wanted to catch you up on my life, where I've been, and just the things that I have been doing lately. So I think the last time I spoke to you guys, I was moving into my new apartment, which is so weird because I've like lived here for, oh, there's the loudest playing out. I've lived here for the longest time now. Well, not the longest time, but I've lived here for a few months now and it's like completely furnished and I love it and I love my space. I'm recording this episode in my office and having an at-home office is a game changer. Like it makes my mood and just my overall like work productivity so much better being able to have an office. I feel so good about it. I just feel like I have such a nice space to do that. So I'm feeling really good. I think that was one of the last updates I had was that I was in a new apartment, which I really, really am enjoying. Something else that's coming up. Oh, my birthday is this month. So all of you Virgos over here, you know, our time is coming. It's almost our season. I am feeling super weird about my birthday, just because obviously COVID and quarantine and like life and all of that has, it's really made, I feel like, celebrating things very weird. Like really anything, you know, like I've been scrolling on Instagram and seeing people doing like gender reveals over Zoom, and like I don't know. I think it's made things really weird trying to celebrate them, but also maybe not in a bad way, because it's like at some points I look at it and I'm like, would I have even ever wanted like a birthday party? Like probably not. Like for my birthday this year, I think I am going to just get a little Airbnb in California. I'm just going to drive down to an Airbnb in California. Probably me and Brandon will stay, do a dinner, maybe go to the beach one day. Just have a very casual birthday weekend. And I was thinking about it and I was like, you know, like I specifically chose to do that because of COVID and quarantine and stuff. I was like, what can I do that is just like still isolating ourselves, but not in like my apartment, how I have been the past few months. And I was like, this is something I really enjoy. So I feel like, you know, while celebrating things is a little weird, it's made me like really appreciate the people in my life. I'm obviously not a professional podcaster because I had the sound on and I got a phone call. But anyway, yeah, I just feel like it's made me really value the people I have in my life and where I focus my time, who I spend it with, and like all of those things. And it's been making me very happy. Another thing that I have been really heavily focusing on during this quarantine. Also, I think I forgot to mention this. If you guys are new to the podcast, I always like to start an episode. I always like to start the episode with things I'm into and things I'm not into. And I forgot to say that in the beginning of me talking about my life and my apartment and my birthday and all this kind of stuff. But I think that the things that I'm talking about are definitely I'm like into it for the month, for the week, or whatever. These are definitely things that I'm into. I don't really have any things that I'm not into right now. I feel like I try not to think about any negative. Actually, no, I do have something I'm not into. I'll get into that later. But anyway, something I've been heavily focusing on that I'm very much into is I've been putting a lot of energy and time and focus on twin flames. And I think that people have seen that a lot more, especially like if you watch my daily vlogs or on my Instagram and stuff. Like I post about it all the time. Like even when we first started the brand, like yes, I would post about it, but I think that definitely over quarantine, I think of like so many different ideas and so many things I want to do with the brand and like things like that. So I've really been enjoying, not that I'm like ever leaving YouTube or leaving Instagram or any of that stuff, but I've really been enjoying like exploring a different like business aspect of my life, and Twin Flames is definitely that for me. And it's somewhere where I can be really creative, and I don't know, I just really like it. I love coming up with designs, I love coming up with photo shoots we want to do, and it just makes me really happy seeing people wear it. And that's something I never thought would happen. Like I never thought I would be able to start a line with my best friend and then like people wearing it in their day-to-day life. Like that just makes me so happy. So that's really it for the things that I'm into right now. I really want to take this podcast episode to talk about so many different things that I've got questions about. I want to talk about celebrities. I want to talk about shows. I want to talk about TikTok. I want to talk about anxiety. Like I just want to talk. Like I woke up this morning and I was like, let's freaking talk. Like let's get into it. So first thing I wanted to talk about, because this was like all in my messages on Instagram, so many of you guys were asking me to please talk about the Call Her Daddy Miley Cyrus episode. So if you guys don't know what Call Her Daddy is, you could potentially be living under a rock, or maybe it's just not your thing. It's not everyone's thing. But Call Her Daddy is a podcast. It's hosted by Alexandra Cooper. I absolutely love her. Like I think she's so funny and genuine and like the cutest person ever. But she just recorded an episode with Miley Cyrus, which is just absolutely insane. It's funny because I was recording a vlog the other day and I was talking about James Charles doing Doja Cat's makeup, and Doja Cat was talking about, oh my gosh, I'm such a big fan of James and like I wanted to meet James. And I was like, I can't even imagine a celebrity ever being like a fan of me, or like what skill set do I even have for a celebrity to be like, wow, like I want to do this with that person. And I think it's really cool that Alex, the host of Call Her Daddy, the host of Call Her Daddy, her skill set is really talking to people and interviewing people and getting to know people and just like literally being personable. And I think that's so amazing. And I think that's the really cool part of podcasting is meeting other people. I say that even though every episode I do is by myself, but that's for other reasons, whatever. But I just think it's really cool. She got to interview Miley Cyrus. Now I want to talk about the episode because if you guys haven't listened yet, I don't want to I don't want to spoil it if you guys haven't ever listened to the episode. But one thing I do think is that Call Her Daddy, if you don't know what it is, it's a very sexual podcast. And I think that by Alex saying Miley Cyrus was coming on, everyone was expecting her to be like this overtly sexual girl and talk about every sexual experience she's ever had, every guy she's ever been with, and all of these things. Even I'm the biggest fan of Miley Cyrus. Like, day one, like I am obsessed with her, loved her through her bangers phase, like everything. So I think that people really expected that from her, and she just like didn't give that. Like she basically was just like, I have been known as being like this overtly sexual person, and like I'm so this and I'm so that, and like actually I'm just normal. Like sometimes I don't have, it was really interesting because I think that leading up to the episode, everyone was like, oh my God, Miley Cyrus is like going to be on the episode. We're going to hear so much tea about her and Liam and her and Cody and her breakup and all of this stuff. And we actually really didn't. And at first I was disappointed, but now I'm like, I get it, because it's like she doesn't want everyone, because it's like the second she says one thing about Liam or whoever, it's like it's blown into this whole thing, and then it's people just like, I feel like people always make her out to be the villain. Definitely in the public eye, like people are like, oh my gosh, she's going from this guy to this guy to this guy to this girl to this girl, and it's like guys do that all the time. It's just weird that guys publicly do the same thing and don't get as much publicity and hate for things like that. Like it's like, oh, congratulations, like you found someone new. And like if a girl, it's like Taylor Swift, it's like, why can she not write songs about guys? And I just found that really weird. But I don't want to talk too much about the podcast, because if you guys haven't listened to it, then you guys definitely should. But I really, truly loved it a lot. And I felt that she really portrayed herself in a different way, and I really enjoyed it. Also, Midnight Sky is like out and it's beautiful. And I love it so much. I just love Miley Cyrus. I think like one thing about her is, you can go back in my old YouTube days when I would be just answering random questions. Who's your favorite celebrity? And I would say Miley Cyrus. I actually think it was like a who's your role model or who do you look up to? And I would always say Miley Cyrus. And this was even in like her bangers phase or whatever. And I would just be like, I just love the fact that no matter what, like she chooses to do things that make her happy, despite what other people have to say. And a lot of the episode yesterday that I listened to was her just being like, I put myself first. Like I decide to choose like my happiness and like my wants and my needs and my career and things like that. I choose to put that first. And I don't think like there's a problem with that. And I really loved that. And I thought that was really cool. So I really enjoyed the episode. Originally I was kind of sad because I did want some tea, but overall I think that the message she left us with was really, really good. Let's see. Someone asked what my favorite show to binge watch is. My favorite show right now, I'm actually rewatching Euphoria. I think it's because on TikTok, people are using the Euphoria sound and stuff, and it's like very popular. And I watched it when it was like coming out on HBO. It's definitely, it's very graphic, and I don't know, there are a lot of things in it that are uncomfortable to watch, but I really love the show. I think it's amazing, and that's something I am rewatching and like binge watching, I guess, right now. The episodes I think are an hour long, and I truly love them. My mom actually sent me a documentary the other day. I need to look it up. I think it's like Gone in the Dark or something, or I'll Be Gone in the Dark. It's a documentary, but it is like a murder mystery type thing. It's true crime. And I started watching the first episode and I couldn't finish. I guess I can like get into a little bit of my anxiety talk here because I got a lot of questions about anxiety, and I got a lot of questions about living alone. And I really do love living alone. Like, I think that it's one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. I get to know myself really well. I work so much living alone, and it like literally makes me so happy. But for the past like month or two, I have been having more heavy like anxiety, and I don't know why. I don't really know what it's stemming from, which I think that's obviously the problem with anxiety, is a lot of times you're just like, why do I feel like this? What is going on with my body? Like cuz I feel like there's nothing really like going on in my life that would cause me to feel this anxious, but I just do. And so recently, probably the past 2 months or so, 2.5 months even, I have not slept fully through the night. I posted something briefly on my story just about like, I can't remember the last time I've slept fully through the night. Even last night, like I wake up at 3:34 every single night. Every single night, it's in between 3:30 and 4. I don't know what it is. I don't know what is going on, but I wake up at 3:30 and 4 with like a lot of anxiety. And I used to never have dreams ever. And I know that like quarantine dreams are like a thing right now, but I truly used to like never dream. Like, I remember people would be like, oh my gosh, I had the craziest dream last night about this, this, and this. And I'd be like, I literally don't dream. Like, I just go to sleep and I wake up. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And I've been having really vivid dreams and like disturbing dreams and just like weird stuff. And I don't know if me having anxiety is causing the dreams, or like the dreams are causing anxiety. Like, I can't tell which one it is, but like literally every night when I go to sleep, I dread when I have to lay in bed by myself, because I know that I am about to like spiral into thinking about all these different things in my life and get anxiety. And then I also dread knowing going to sleep that I'm going to wake up like in a few hours with like a nightmare and be like, oh my God, what do I do? So, one thing I got a lot of questions about, coping with anxiety. One thing that has actually helped me is CBD. I know people say that. This is not an ad. That kind of sounded like I was trying to incorporate an ad. I'm definitely not, but one thing that's really helped me is CBD. I've been taking these little CBD gummies I got at the grocery store. I need to find the brand name or something, but they're so good, and they really do mellow me out. It says to take one on the little pill thing, but I don't. I take at least like 2 or 3 because I'm like, I need this in order to function. So honestly, if you struggle with anxiety, I really would recommend trying CBD. Another thing, I feel like I was going somewhere with the beginning of that topic, and now I actually can't remember. Oh, I was talking about true crime. One of the reasons I stopped watching the documentary is because of my anxiety. I can't watch as much true crime anymore, and it makes me really sad because you guys know, like, I am a very, very big true crime fan, and I absolutely love looking up true crime cases. I literally and the thing is I don't think it's living alone, because I lived alone for a year last year and I was like completely fine, and I would only watch true crime. Like, I would play true crime all day long. I would listen to every true crime podcast I could, and I'm still living by myself, and it's like completely different. Like, it's like I can't do it anymore. So I'm not sure why my anxiety has gotten a lot more like severe. I feel like it's more getting to the point where it's like controllable. In the past, I've been able to cope in different ways of just like kind of telling myself like you were in control of your mind, because at the end of the day, anxiety really is in your head. Yes, it can stem from certain things going on like around you, but you have the control to stop it. You really do. And that really helps with my anxiety, like reminding myself like no one is making you feel this way. You need to just like control how you're feeling, and you can. And I think that with anxiety, when you start to get anxious, you start thinking, oh my gosh, I can't get out of it. Like, why am I doing like this? I can't control it. And you feel like it's not you that's doing it. It's like something else in you. And you kind of have to just like take the power back and be like, no, like I can control this. This is my mind. This is my body. I don't want to feel like this. And it's definitely getting to the point where I feel like that is not working as much. And honestly, like I got kind of frustrated this morning because I posted on my story, and yesterday I was going over to one of my friend Louisa's house. You guys know Louisa. And I was going over to Louisa's house, and she was having like 2 or 3 friends over, and we were just going to listen to the Call Her Daddy episode together. And I posted earlier in the day, like, are you ever having a perfectly fine day? And then all of a sudden you have like crippling anxiety and you feel like you want to throw up and you feel sick to your stomach. And I got a message from someone like saying, honestly, I want to read it because I just do. It said, love you, but people with real anxiety problems like me see this and think WTF, because when I'm having crippling anxiety that makes me want to vomit, I do not look like this, and I'm not posting about it on Instagram. This is out of touch. And I really felt so hurt. Like I truly felt so hurt because this person, like, while yes, they may have found what I posted offensive about me having crippling anxiety, while they may have found that offensive, don't ever look at someone and be like, you don't have real problems. You don't have real anxiety. You don't have this struggle, just because they don't look like they do. And that's the problem with people like on the internet. And it's like, I responded and I was just like, I'm sorry that my anxiety doesn't look like yours. Like, you know what? When I was sitting on the couch, like breathing heavy, like my chest feeling heavy, me going over to the toilet thinking I'm going to throw up from having anxiety. No, I didn't take a photo of that. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't post that on my Instagram of me like leaning over the toilet and me trying to do steady breathing with my head in between my knees while I'm sitting on the couch. Like, no, I didn't post that. Instead, I tried to really pull myself out of it. And a lot of times I share my anxiety on Instagram and on stories and in podcasts and things like that, because every time I do, I get people messaging me saying like, thank you so much for opening up about, you know, social anxiety and anxiety things and things like that, because it's like seeing someone who they might look up to struggle with that is helpful. And I know that because when I see other people that I look up to like be honest about their problems, I really admire that. And I never want to like be like, oh my gosh, like I have it all together. I just had to kind of like talk about my anxiety and like share that, because I felt so upset this morning when I opened my phone and read that, and having someone say, me seeing this and I have real anxiety, I just felt very hurt, because I was like, I've struggled with anxiety. My family knows this. My friends know this. I've struggled with anxiety for a long time and do still struggle with anxiety. So for someone to be like, you don't have real problems, I don't look like this, and post it on Instagram, I was just like, that's so hurtful. That's way more detrimental than me sharing it. Anyway, that's like my anxiety talk for today. I told you guys this was going to be a long episode, so trust me, we've got like so many other things to cover. And yeah, I know I'm talking a lot. Someone said, how do I get a guy to finally like me? I've had failed talking stages and I'm over it. I think like one of the things is I guess I'm probably not the best person to answer this, just because when I was single, I wasn't interested in a lot of guys. I'm a very, very, very picky person. So like before Brandon, like really didn't like anyone. Like I wasn't at ASU like, oh my gosh, I like all these boys. I wasn't like that. I will say though, like when I did show interest in Brandon, I may come off as a confident person on Instagram and things like that, but everyone is insecure in their own ways. But when approaching a guy or trying to get a guy to like you, whatever, it's really important to just be confident. Like guys like a confident girl and like someone who knows themselves and is sure of themselves. So, you know, kind of, it's one of those things where I feel like I kind of just like faked it till I made it, you know, like with my confidence. I definitely have gained confidence through being like, I'm confident, I think I'm this, and like I know that they're gonna like me, and like I've kind of just like lied to myself repeatedly that now I just believe it, and I'm like, yes, I'm a very confident person, and it's something I literally had to teach myself. But getting guys to like you is one, you shouldn't really have to get them to like you, you know. It's like, obviously be confident and be yourself, but also like don't force it, you know. If it's seeming to not go anywhere, it's okay to like take a little step back. All right, this one says, if you had to pick any celebrity to be in your podcast, who would it be and why? This is a good question because I was just saying how like I don't have a skill that a celebrity would be like, oh my gosh, I want to make him meet her. I'm trying to think of celebrities I really love. I know everyone thinks that I would want to have Hailey Bieber on, but probably not. I mean, I think Hailey Bieber is gorgeous and like all of that kind of stuff, and I do think she's a great person, and yeah, like interviewing her would be cool. But I think there are like other celebrities that I would genuinely want to like know so many different like details of their personality about. I think a really good one would be Rihanna. I think she would be a really, really cool person to interview. One, because like obviously it's Rihanna. Hello. And also I just think that she has like so much to her. She's such a like amazing businesswoman, entrepreneur, style icon, like skincare, makeup, fashion, lingerie, like everything about Rihanna is like so amazing. But I really like, honestly, I would love to like sit down and ask her questions like about her life and like just like how she grew up and like different things like that. I feel like she's definitely a celebrity who needs to have a documentary. Like I don't think that people know enough about Rihanna, you know? I feel like people need to really, I don't know, I think she needs a documentary. Like, you know, they have those for different people and celebrities, kind of like a autobiography. Yeah, I think she needs that, but I would love to interview her. How do you deal with competition within your same work field? I think this is definitely something that a lot of people deal with, and obviously this question is specific to like work, so I guess like for me that would be like YouTube or podcasting or Instagram or whatever it is, like brand deals and stuff. I think one thing that I always have to remind myself, and like it sounds so corny, but it's like really no one is you, and you are completely unique to yourself. So, you know, when I do YouTube or different ideas, just different things, you know, and I think it says a lot about social media as a whole, because it's like obviously like me and Kenzie and all these people, you know, we all do daily vlogs and we all do morning routines and we do kind of that. And it's like, well, why do some of us have, like, we have one audience and the other has another audience, but we're doing the same types of content? And it's because, you know, no one is unique to you. So, you know, going into different job opportunities and things like that, you know, you have to remind yourself, it's like, no one has the same work ethic as you. No one will have the same ideas as you. And maybe they will, but it's like, will they execute them the same way that you do, you know? And I think, oh, this is who I was listening to the other day. I was listening to James Charles talk about this, and I was like, wow, he's such a boss, because I was listening to him on a podcast episode, and he was talking about how he has all these ideas for his job and his life and things like that. And he was just like, even if someone else has the same idea as me, I know they'll never execute it the way I will. I know they'll never do it like I will. And I was like, that confidence in like knowing that like you are your own person and whatever you put your mind to, you can do. That's so important, especially within like your work field and really just like in competition in general. I also think it kind of plays into relationships, it's like, maybe you and your friend don't have the same like lifestyle or same job or whatever, but it's like maybe they're getting more success and it's kind of like you feel like there's a competition between things. It's like you guys are two completely different people. And while maybe you have the same interest in things, you guys are not the same person. And it's like sometimes we get so caught up in being like, no, but like we both like this and we both do this. And like, why does she have that and I don't? And it's like, you have to remember that you are your own person. Everything that comes to you is unique to you. Like, I believe that God has a plan and a purpose. And I think that our life is already laid out. So like everything that is yours will be yours, and I think that that's so important to remind yourself of, especially in competition. It's like all you can do is your best. You do your best, you try your hardest, and if that's it, then that's it, and what's yours is yours. What is a show that everyone loves but you just think is overrated? I think I'm probably the person that watches a lot of shows that are that are overrated. I love Friends, I love The Office. I love both of those shows, and like people always say that they're super overrated. One thing I think maybe I just don't like this type of show. I don't really like cartoons, like Adult Swim cartoons. I don't find Rick and Morty very funny. I don't find like The Simpsons, like I've never watched The Simpsons or Family Guy or any of those things. And those are so popular. And for anyone who was like, no, like they're not that popular, they're so popular. Like the amount of time that these shows have been around, I genuinely question, because I do not think that they're funny or interesting in the slightest. Maybe Rick and Morty a little bit, but other shows like that, like I just do not find stuff like that funny. I definitely think they're very overrated. How do you tell people that you don't drink and having confidence in that? Normally when I meet someone, I'm not like, I don't drink alcohol, I never have, never will. Like I'm not a freak. Like I'm not that makes you a freak, but like I just don't like front say that. Normally, because I always go to like pre-games before parties, and more so because I'm like, I don't want to not be involved. Like just because I don't drink, I don't think that just because you guys are having a pregame, I shouldn't go. Like I'm going to go to the pregame and I'm going to have a good time and talk to people, So when I do go, normally someone initially will be like, oh, do you want me to pour you a shot? Or, oh, do you want to drink here? And I'm like, oh no, I'm good. I'm not drinking tonight. If it's the first time I'm meeting someone and first time I'm around different people, I'm normally just like, I'm not drinking tonight. Like I'll just say that just so that I don't have to really divulge everything. It's not that I'm embarrassed. It's just like a lot of times when you say in group settings, oh, I don't drink alcohol or what, it becomes literally an entire conversation of why don't you drink alcohol? Oh my gosh. Like, so you never have, and it like literally gets so annoying having that conversation over and over. So, I tend to just not say that, unless I see the person again for the second or third time. We're at a dinner and like everyone's getting a drink and they're like, you're still not drinking. Then I'll be like, oh, I don't really drink alcohol. Like, I don't really drink alcohol. And then they're like, oh, like you just stopped or you just don't like it. And I'm like, no, I just never have been interested in it. And that's kind of how I do it. I'm very confident in that. My thing is I don't really care. I don't really see it as something that matters. I would also say about 99% of the time when I tell people, oh, I don't drink alcohol, and we have like the kind of discussion, literally the conversation ends with, oh my gosh, I wish I was like that. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be like that. Like most of the time, people who do drink, and it's not saying that that's bad or whatever. It's just they always say, oh my gosh, I wish that I was like that. Like I wish I didn't like need to have it, So they don't ever make me feel like insecure or weird about it. Ooh, who is your favorite on Selling Sunset? Let's talk about Selling Sunset, guys. I freaking love Selling Sunset. So, when I watch a show, I really like to watch a lot of interviews of the people in the show, like outside of the show. I like to watch them outside of it just because I want to see how their personalities align and the type of person they are and things like that. So season 1, I was obviously, everyone loves Chrishell. Chrishell's like amazing. If you guys haven't seen Selling Sunset, it's on Netflix. It's so good, and everyone's talking about it. But yeah, Chrishell is definitely my favorite. I really love her. I also love Mary a lot. I think Mary, I don't know, I really like Mary. I see bits and pieces of like my personalities kind of in each of them, other than Christine. I don't think that I personally have a lot of, actually, no, I lied, because I think that there are aspects of Christine that are good. I think that she really plays a character. She's someone I would love to interview. Like, I would love to know, like, where did you come from? Like, how did you get to the point that you are? Like, what was your childhood like? Those are like questions I would love to ask Christine, because I genuinely do like wonder about her. But yeah, in the show, I think Chrishell and Mary are definitely my favorite. I feel like on this last season, I found it really like gross and disrespectful that they were questioning Chrishell's divorce, and like, did she really not know? You know what? It's like, what if she did? What if she did have a feeling that they were getting divorced? Either way, going through a divorce is really, really difficult. And why would she lie about being blindsided? Maybe months before they had talked and he had threatened leaving her or whatever it was. But either way, she was clearly blindsided and distraught over it. So it's like, why are you gonna, kind of kick her when her down? Talk about her when she's not there. That really put a bad taste in my mouth. I did not like that Christine said that. I also just don't care for Davina very much. But at the same time, I feel like, these shows portray them in a very, very specific way, in a very specific role. I watched an interview of Christine a few weeks ago when she was talking. It was before season 3 came out, and she was talking about season 3 and different things. And she actually seemed way nicer and way down to earth in the interview than she does in like the little like snippy bits of the show. So I think that obviously you have to remember these people are put into the show to play certain roles. Christine is obviously very clearly the role of like kind of stirring the pot. And Chrishell is like the very just like angel, innocent girl, which it's like, if that's who you are, then that's great. But I think that that's something we all have to remember, because like I said, like Christine is someone who I think they portray her in a very specific way on the show. And I would love to literally be like, where did you come from? What do you do? Like, just really deep questions. I feel like Christine has a lot more to her. Would you consider plastic surgery? So I don't think that I would ever really get plastic surgery. There's nothing that I'm overtly very, very like insecure about and want changed on like my body or my face or anything. Actually, you know what? I think that maybe later on in my life, I think the only thing I would get is maybe like a boob lift. I definitely think I would want my boobs lifted, because I just think like as you get older, they start getting lower and lower, and I don't want that. I want them high and tight. So I think that maybe like later on down the line, when they start getting not as cute, I'll lift them up a bit. That would probably be the only thing. I guess maybe I would get Botox, but Botox isn't plastic surgery because it like wears off in like 2 months or whatever, or like a month. I guess maybe I would get Botox, but I've never had anything injected in my face before, and it makes me kind of nervous because I'm like, I don't know what the effects of that would be later on. Like, I think about lip fillers, and I'm like, if I ever got lip filler, like I'm not okay with like things like that. Like, I would be touching my lip all day, like very stressed and concerned. But I guess the only plastic surgery I would ever have is maybe getting a boob lift. I think that is plastic surgery. I'm almost positive that that's plastic surgery. How do you stay inspired or motivated through what feels like a never ending pandemic? I definitely have been struggling with this a little bit more, just because I'm like daily vlogging and stuff, and I'm trying to put out content, and it's like, I want to be creative and I want to be entertaining for you guys. And part of me is like, I'm sitting at home postmating food, and like I don't leave my apartment majority of the time. Like maybe once a week I go over to Louisa's and we sit in her apartment and I play with her dog, and then I come home, you know? So it's getting to the point where I'm like, how much longer can I really do this? Like how much longer can I make stuff up to entertain myself with? You know, it's like getting to that point. But I think everyone experiencing 2020 right now, like this is truly unforgettable. Like when we make it to 2021, I think that we're all going to be so shook and like so shocked. And I think, I guess what keeps motivating me is like that, like, you know, like light at the end of the tunnel. Like there has to be something good and positive that comes out of it. And if you guys are feeling, you know, unmotivated or low or whatever, you know, try and do something that makes you happy. You know, I know not everyone's probably a Logan Paul stan, which like I'm not saying I'm a Logan Paul stan, but I do listen to Impulsive. And he said something, I don't even know what episode it was in, but he said something along the lines of like, if something is not making you happy, like create your own happiness, like make yourself happy. And I really, really loved that because that's so true. Like literally scratch that. What he was saying is like you look for happiness in other people and like other things and jobs and work and relationships and all of this stuff. And it's like, create your own happiness, you know, like stop seeking happiness in other people. And that's when you'll kind of start to fill yourself up and like fill your life up. And I really loved that. And I think that's definitely important during like this pandemic and quarantine and stuff. It's like, we're looking for like all of these things to entertain us and make us happy. And it's like, maybe this is a really good time to figure out what it is that we can do for ourselves that make us happy, you know? Okay, this is my last twin flames question because I know that the podcast is not that interested in like twin flames, but they said, where do you see twin flames going? What are some inspirations behind it? And what is your favorite piece so far? So the favorite piece is not out yet. Like there is something that is coming out, so we're dropping our Bloom collection very soon, which I love. And I think it's beautiful. And I've been wanting it to come out for a while, but there is a piece that me and Nat are really excited about that is dropping after the Bloom collection. And like, I love it so much. And I think it's like so cute and simple and it's just my vibe and I love it. But yeah, so it hasn't come out yet, but it'll be out later. Where do I see twin flames going? You know, not to say like I don't have goals for twin flames, because obviously it's like I want people to love it and like it and wear it and stuff, but I'm just doing what I think is right. You know, it's like I'm just creating pieces that I think are cute and I hope that people wear them. I want it to be like a very casual, like street style wear. I love like going on TikTok and going on YouTube and going here and there and like seeing different people wear like Mad Happy or seeing different people wear like different newer brands like Talentless and things like that. I love that because I'm like, that's so cool. You know, like that's a very casual piece and it's like something that is so easy and simple to wear. I want to be that for people. Like I want people to put our pieces on and feel comfortable and be like, oh, like I love this crew neck or I love this hoodie or whatever it is. So like I don't necessarily have like a very specific goal. Like I'm not like, oh my gosh, I want to be a retail store. Like I don't have anything like that. Me and Nat just kind of are doing what we think is right with our brand. So yeah. Someone said thoughts on the new Bachelorette season. I know Tayshia is going to be the next Bachelorette. I saw that and I'm so excited for it. Not to be a hater, but I don't think I was going to watch the last Bachelorette season when they announced who the Bachelorette was. I was kind of like, I don't really know if I'm going to watch. Now that it's Tayshia, I'm like literally so excited. I think she just has such a positive bubbly energy, but at the same time, like she knows what she wants. Like she knows herself. And I'm just so excited for her. I think this is going to be such a cool experience. I'm talking like I know her, but I'm very excited for the new Bachelorette season. Tips on how to be successful and not give in when things fall short. This is something that I especially have struggled with, especially with twin flames. You know, it's really hard having an idea or having goals that you really, really want to accomplish and seeing other people execute them in what seems like a very effortless way. You know, like people portray things completely different than how they really are. And it's like, you guys might see my Instagram and you're like, oh my gosh, like she's doing a podcast and a this and a that. And it's like, no, like stuff like this is hard. Like it's hard to keep up with all of this stuff. And so I think that something I have reminded myself of a lot is like a little quote I saved off of Pinterest. And it was just like, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's like chapter 24. Like it's just like, don't compare your starting season to theirs. Like you don't know what they had to go through to get to where they are. And I think a lot of times, because I have all of these goals and like things that I want to do, I look at other people achieving them and I'm like so salty and I'm so annoyed and I'm like, no, but I want that. I want to do that. I want to get there. And it's like, Keaton, like you just started this. You're still learning. Obviously, that's not going to be you. Like these people have been doing this for however long. And it's like the same with like work, like whatever job you're in. It's like you want to be where other people are, but it's like, don't compare, oh, they just get this handed to them and they just do this for free or whatever it is. It's just like, don't compare what you're doing in your chapter 1 to their 25 or whatever it is, you know, because it's like they could have been in the beginning of their career doing the same exact thing that you're doing and being like, I want to get there. I want to get there. And you just have to believe in yourself, even when things start to fall short. I've had so many different mishaps, you know, in YouTube and Instagram, or even in Twin Flames, you know, certain things that didn't go completely right the way we wanted them to. And it's like, you just got to pick the ball up and keep going, because if you don't, like, no one's going to keep it going for you. You got to be the one to like, okay, push through. Oh, someone asked me my thoughts on the Wayfair scandal. I definitely think it's real. Unfortunately, as sad as that sounds, you know, I think that I'm almost positive. I think that it's real. I just don't understand. I truly don't understand, by looking at everything that was shown on the internet and everything that was connected. I don't know how you could look at that and think it was a coincidence. I just don't. I don't see it being a coincidence. And I think that a lot of people, and more recently, have been kind of waking up to seeing more things about sex trafficking, which I find very weird. I guess not weird, because it's good that people are getting more knowledge on this. But I mean, me personally, I've known about this and done research on this like for a long time. One of the main reasons is because a pastor, Christine Kane, she came to my church a long time ago and spoke this entire message. She has a foundation, or like an organization called A21. They fight for people who are basically like slaves, whether they're sex slaves or in other countries doing like different labor and stuff like that. And she helps them, and she has this really cool organization. So that was the first way that I ever heard about human trafficking. Like, and I know Houston is like, or at the time of that, Houston was the #1 city in Houston or human trafficking. So I remember like my mom and different people always talking about it and being like, you know, you have to be very aware. So unfortunately, while a lot of people have been blind to things like that, it's true. It's not something that is hidden. It's really upsetting and it's really sad. And you know, the question was, do I believe in it? Yes, I do believe that whatever that thing was with Wayfair, that was real. Whether it was Wayfair personally doing it, I know a lot of people I read said that Wayfair is almost like Amazon. So basically, like, it's different vendors that get to sell their items on Wayfair. So maybe it wasn't necessarily Wayfair being like, this is us, buy this from us, like buy this person, but it could have been a like fulfillment center or like a different person selling through their site and Wayfair not realizing. But then it's like, how would that slip through the cracks? Like, you're selling an $8,000 cabinet. Like, I don't get it. Okay, how do you feel about cancel culture? To be honest, I don't get it. Like, I don't know where I stand on it, because it's like, obviously at some point people need to be held accountable. I think that there's a way of holding people accountable without telling them that they need to rot in prison and like go to hell and things like that, and bashing them on the internet. There are people who have done very horrible things and posted them on the internet, And yes, I'm not saying like no one should ever be called out for anything. I think that you should. But the reason why you're calling it out is what needs to be looked at. I think that the main problem with cancel culture is it's like, what is the motive? Is the reason you're calling out this person because you like them and you want them to learn? Or is the reason you're calling out this person to literally take them down and make sure it, and that's where I see it's just so detrimental really to people's mental health to go and just try and ruin their lives as opposed to showing grace. And I know that not everyone believes in showing grace to different people, who have done really horrible things. But as a Christian, it's like, that's what I've always learned and been taught to do. It's like, no matter what, I'm going to show grace to you. Maybe that wasn't right, but I need to help you as opposed to try to turning you away and just trying to tear you down and stuff like that. So cancel culture is very weird to me, especially because of, the amount of times that people cancel over and over and over, and everyone's canceled, and Jeffree Star's canceled. Okay, well, Jeffree Star, he just uploaded a video the other day of his brand new collection that he's releasing and swatched all his eyeshadows and, did all of that kind of stuff, and he will go on. It's like, how many times are you guys going to cancel these people until you realize it's not going to work? Like, because at the end of the day, whoever the person is that you're canceling, they don't have to stop posting. They don't have to stop doing what they're doing. You can, try and bully them off of the internet, but they don't have to leave unless it's them themselves that feel that they need to leave. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can cancel someone so many times, but unless they feel like, okay, I need to be off the internet, then they will. Some people can be, canceled and take the time to learn and grow from their mistakes and then come back to the internet. And that I feel like is fine. But, it's like, after you bring it up one time and you go through this whole scandal of whatever, I think that you need to just trust in the person and believe in the person and give them grace to grow from it. I feel like I have been talking so much. There are so many like really amazing questions on here, and I really enjoyed doing the visual portion of this. So much fun. I feel like it definitely helped me being able to talk to a camera. I really missed this podcasting thing, you guys. I hope that you guys are enjoying it. And if you guys want to, obviously you guys can always go check out the podcast Instagram I have. It is at I'mIntoIt.podcast. Check me out on my personal, all that kind of stuff. It'll be in the little description of this podcast that you guys can go click and check out. But thank you guys so much for always being so supportive of me. And even when I stop podcasting or take a break or whatever it is, you guys are like still right there with me and always listening and always asking me questions of being like, Keaton, we want you to do this. And, like, I genuinely feel like you guys are my friends. And I say this every episode, but that's why I do it. Like, it's not sponsored. I'm not with a network. I sit in my house and I just talk to you guys because I'm like, this is an open conversation with my friends that I want to have. So I hope that you guys truly enjoy that. And if you guys have any topics that you guys want to send to me that you guys are like, I want you to specifically cover this on next week's episode, you guys can always send them to the email. It's also in the description. I really enjoy kind of like this free talking just about like entertainment and things and stuff like that. So if you guys do like this as well, always let me know. And now that I have a YouTube portion of this, you guys can comment on the YouTube video and say, oh my gosh, I liked this part or I didn't like this part. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. If you guys are, I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.